Hi guys, thank you for joining me today for this YouTube video. Today's lesson is going to be an intro to Python. This is brought to you by STEMpathize, and this lesson is aimed for kids in grades 5 to 6. So a little bit about STEMpathize. We are an organization built of high school volunteers, created to host hands-on workshops and create videos such as these to help students who want to gain interest in STEM. If you want to learn more about us, you can look at our website, Instagram, or YouTube, which are all listed here on the screen. So for a little icebreaker, my name is Delilah, and I'm going into my junior year of high school, and my favorite mythical creature is probably a unicorn. It has always been a unicorn, always will be. So the objective of today's lesson is that you guys, the students, will learn the basics of algorithms and Python. That might sound a little crazy now, but you will learn. So, for a definition, an algorithm is basically a step-by-step set of instructions made to do a task. Sort of like how we have recipes that are step-by-step instructions to create a food, our algorithms are going to be step-by-step instructions in order to tell a computer to do something. So an example of an algorithm might be when you're making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. So the algorithm for this sandwich is going to be 1, put a slice of bread down, 2, smear peanut butter on one side of the bread, 3, get a second slice of bread, 4, smear jam on the slice of bread, 5, put both pieces of bread together with the peanut butter facing the jam, and 6, consume the sandwich. So this recipe or algorithm gives us the final product of the peanut butter and jelly sandwich. So for example, this video is basically a father and son, and the father is trying to get the son to create this set of instructions so the dad can make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, as we mentioned. But the kid learns through this video by creating new sets of instructions that he has to be very, very particular in them in order to get his dad to do what he wants and make the sandwich the correct way. So eventually the kid gets very frustrated, but he learns that these algorithms and instructions can't be vague at all. They have to be very particular. And if there's little things that are off or little things missing, it could mess up the entire product. So he learns to really be particular in what he's saying in order to get what he wants. So for our first activity, you are going to be a robot. So to talk about real-world applications of these algorithms, computer science create the algorithms for computers, and this is also referred to as code, which you might have heard of before. And the code or the algorithm they create tells the computer to do whatever the program wants it to do. So the objective of this activity is that you students will learn to think in specific steps, and doing this, you will control your partners. So, as we know, computers and robots do not have brains, as humans do. So they cannot think for themselves. But what they can do is follow instructions, and they can do this very well. So these instructions that we said are called algorithms need to be clear and specific, as we said. For example, you cannot tell a robot to walk around a room because it won't understand. It doesn't know how to walk, it doesn't know where it's going, and the computer doesn't have the brain that we have to understand that. But if you explain to the robot step by step with an algorithm what to do, then it will be phenomenal at completing the task. So for this activity, there are no materials required, just you and a partner. So if you can find a partner, then we'll get started. So step 1, you're going to find this partner and decide who in the group is going to be the robot and who is going to be the programmer. After you have decided, we'll get right into it. So the programmer in this activity is going to be trying to get the robot to do a jumping jack. But when talking to this robot, you have to explain step by step what it means to do a jumping jack, because this robot doesn't know what a jumping jack is. It's not human. It's never heard of this. So you have to give it these very clear steps. For example, if I was the programmer, I might say as my first step, first, jump into a position with your feet apart and your arms spread wide. This is clear, and it tells the robot what to do, and then the robot will follow exactly as the programmer says. So if you want to pause this video and give it a try with your partner, and then come back on when you're finished, and we'll move on to the next thing. Okay, so now that you have completed the jumping jack, hopefully successfully, we are going to switch. So whoever was the programmer is now going to be the robot, and whoever was the robot is now going to be the programmer. So now the programmer is going to have to give specific instructions to the robot in order to get the robot into the Warrior 2 yoga position. Now, the robot may not know what this is, but that's okay because the programmer is going to be very clear in their instructions and get the robot to do this. If you'd like to pause the video, here is the position you are trying to get the robot into, and then you can join back and we'll move on. Okay, so now that you're done, you can discuss with your partner, was it hard to find a way to explain these concepts as your partner, the robot, didn't know what a jumping jack was or didn't know what the warrior 2 yoga position was. Did you find that difficult, and what made it hard, and what brought you to success? Okay, so now that you are done, if you'd like to pause the video and take a 5-minute break, that is all good. I'm going to continue going, but if you would like to hop off and then come back on, that is totally fine. Okay, for our next activity, we are going to be using Python, which is a type of code, to create our own online game, and it is going to be a number guesser. So the objective of this lesson and of this activity is that you students will learn the basics of Python, including how to use print functions, if-else statements, and while loops. Right now, you might not know what any of that means, and that is totally okay because we are going to get into it, and by the end, you will understand all of it. So we will be making a game in which the computer will create a random number. The computer will basically think of a random number, and the player is going to have to guess the number. Then the program will tell you if the number that you guessed was higher or lower than the actual number. So to do this and to create this game, we are going to be writing and coding an algorithm to tell the computer what to do step by step, just as we did with our partner. So the materials you need for this activity is going to be a computer with internet connection, and then you are going to need to type repl.it into your browser, which is a free online coding application that will let us input our code. So if you want to type that in right now and pull that up, that would be perfect. Okay, so step 1, you are going to need to create an account or log in with your account into REPL. So you can press the blue start coding button that you see right here, and then that is going to prompt you to create or log into an account. So you can do that and then join back once you're all finished. Okay, so now we are going to be creating a new repl.it or a new project for us to work on, and you can do this by pressing the blue button that says create, and then you are going to choose Python under the template tab. So as we've talked about and as we know, computers don't have brains like we have brains, so they don't understand the language we understand. Instead, they have their own kind of language, their own computer language, and in this instance, that is going to be Python, and that the computer can read and it can use to do its tasks. So now you can title your project. You can title it Number Guesser, as that is the game we're going to be creating, and then we'll get started on the coding. Okay, so first, in order to begin all of our coding, we need to import something called a library. And what a library does is it opens all new possibilities for a specific task. So for this task, we want the computer to pick a random number. So we are going to import the library that picks random numbers. So to do this, you are going to type in for your first line of code from random import radin. And when you are typing the code, you need to remember, as I said earlier, that things have to be very specific. So any slight issues in spelling or grammar or capitalization can cause bigger issues in the end, so do make sure that what you are putting is the same as what you see as the example here on the screen. Okay, so for our next line, and you can see that in this image, we skip over a line to get to our next one, and this keeps our code more organized and clear. But for this next line, we want to tell the computer to randomly pick this number between 0 and 100. So this random number that we don't yet know the value of, we are just going to title it number. So that way, later on, we can use this word to refer to the random number without knowing what it is. So we are going to say number equals radient parentheses 0, 100. And this tells the computer that the number should be something random between 0 and 100. Okay. So next, what we want to tell the computer to do is to ask the game player or the guesser to think of the number that they want to input, and we want the computer to store that number that the guesser chose as guess. So we have number, which is the number the computer chose, and guess, which is the number the guesser input. So for our next line, as you can see on the screen, we are going to say that guess equals this line of code and your guess for the number. So here's where we're putting in the player's idea for the number. So now, we want to tell the computer what to do when the guess is wrong. As we said in earlier in the activity when I was explaining it, is that we want the computer to tell the player when their number is too high or too low so they can guess something different that's closer in range. So we're going to do this by creating something called a while loop. So what a while loop does is it tells the computer where to go while something is true. So what is the something that's true is that the guess that the guesser input does not equal the random number the computer chose. So in order to say that two things are not equal, instead of using an equal sign, which means equal, you can throw an exclamation point in front of that equal sign, and then that's going to say not equal. So this loop right here says, while the guess does not equal the number, and then we'll tell the computer what to do. So if you want to input that, then we'll move on. So our next step is going to prompt the computer to ask the user to guess the number while the guess is not equal to the number, and also say if the guess is lower or higher than the number. So we are now putting into our while loop what to do when the guess does not equal the number. So the computer knows, okay, this is where I go when the guess does not equal the number, but now what do I do following up? So what will the computer do following up? So if that guess is greater, we want the computer to print or to put up on the screen that number is too high. So we will do this just as you see on the screen here with our next two lines of code. So what these lines are saying is that if the guess is greater than the number, then we are going to print on the screen that is too high. Now, what to do when the number is too low is basically just the opposite of what we already inputted above. And we are going to say if the guess is less than the number, the computer will print that is too low. Now, for step 11, since this guess is still not equal to the number, we want to prompt the guesser or the game player to guess again. Now they know whether to go higher or lower, so they can guess more in range, and we want to ask them to input a new number and try again. So at the end of this loop, once the computer has told us if it is too high or too low, we are going to tell the computer to repeat as it did earlier and input your guess for the number. So it's going to tell the person once again to guess a new number. And as you can see, this line of code is the same as what it was earlier because we want the computer to do the same task. We just wanted to tell us to input whatever our guess is. So those are going to look exactly the same. Okay, so now the computer knows through the while loop what to do if the guess is incorrect. And now we want to focus on telling the computer what to do when the guess is correct. So once you put in your number and the guess is not correct, the computer will look into this loop. However, if it is correct, it's going to skip over that loop because that is not true, and it's going to go right here to our next line of code. And our next line of code is going to say, print on the screen, you got the number, or whatever celebratory message you want to give. So we have exited out of the loop through having the correct number, and we're skipping ahead to this next line of code, which is telling the person that they are correct. So you have officially created your Python coded game, and now if you would like to play your game, you can press the green run button, which will be at the top of your screen, and then you can guess your different guesses for the number and see if you can get it correct through the code that you created. Now, as we've spoken about, code is very specific, and it can be kind of funny if you get even slight things wrong. So if you notice that your code is not working, I would encourage you to look back at the example right here and make sure that all of your grammar, capitalization, spaces, and everything looks the exact same as what we have right here, and that might help you troubleshoot if yours is not quite working correct. So now, let's do a little discussion question. So let's say the number that the computer chose was 56 and the player guessed 42. What would the computer then know through our instructions to print or say? Would the computer say, that is too high or that is too low? So you can take a guess, and if you said that the computer would say that is too low, you are correct. 42, which is the guess, is less than the number, and as we printed in our code, when the guess is less than the number, we're going to print that is too low. So that is what the computer would say. Thank you guys so much. Thank you guys so much for taking this lesson and watching this video. I hope you enjoyed learning to use Python and learning about algorithms, and I hope to see you next time. So if you would like to take a look again at our website, Instagram, or YouTube, those are linked here, and we'll see you later.